Welcome, and I would like to thank you for tuning in to the Montice Harmon Show. Today, I just want to keep it funky with y'all. I'm going to talk about a couple of subjects, a couple of things that's been on my mind. I get tons of emails from a variety of different people. I won't say just my fans in general because everybody's not my fan. You can be my hater fan, I guess. Hater fans, hi. That's a new word for y'all out there. Hater fans, hi. But anyways, I've got a couple of emails from some of my fans and some, various different people, that pretty much not irrelevant. So I'm going to read my fan mail. But in regards to the expressions of poetry. And then I am going to open up live and going to get some comments in. So if you have any questions or whatever the case, hit me. Let me know what you're thinking so I could respond to you. And this is live. By the time it hit Spotify, it may not be. But it is live, so you will be able to catch me, reading your messages to me out, responding to your messages. So I want to start off with just basically stating that Expressions of Poetry was a personal project of mine. It was something that I, throughout the years of my life, I kind of journaled into a book. And I would say by the year of 2011, it was like probably a 5-year span into that book of various. I mean, it's like it goes way back into my age, into my teens. That story, up until whenever I lost my grandmother. But that book is very personal because I speak about things that that I thought that I shouldn't speak about, being that I am a writer. Overall, people know I'm known as a children's book writer. So I had to be very careful about the type of things that I release, especially when it came to a poetry book, a book that basically it could be about anything. And to many people, many critics, they say that I'm controversial. I don't really think so. I'm just the type of person, I speak my mind, but I choose my words very carefully. I try my best to respect, to be a respectable person of other people's feelings. But within this poetry book, it's very, very personal. And that's why I'm so excited for those who supported this book. The book, the physical copy, the ebook copy, and now the audio book, which is like right now it's number one. It's like it's really, really, really good, and the feedback has been tremendous. Okay, just not too long ago with live, I have Melissa from Kansas, and she says she read my book and why? Okay, Melissa. The reason why I decided to release the book is because I felt like that was something I need to get off my chest. It was a lot of things that I've held in. Like Dear Grandma was the poem that sparked the flame of me going forward with releasing that project because it gave me confidence. It gave me, and especially after reading at my grandmother's funeral, I knew that with her passing and everything, I haven't had published anything at that particular moment. I needed to get on the path of finding my destiny, because now it's like you in this world and you don't have that number one moral support, which was my grandmother when she was living. So that was the thing that pushed me into releasing that project. Okay, Erica, Erica from Philly, Erica from Philly. Okay, Erica asked me, why did I decide to add politics into my personal poetry collection? I would say that has something to do with a lot of my growing up, watching my people and how we have transpired and you know transformed into what we are now, which I don't think is at its best right now, but we're working for us, and we're gonna get there. But for the simple fact that me being a black man here in America, haven't been that many years ago. I tell many people, that we were in captivity. We were slaves, you know, by force. It was never by choice. Nobody choose to be brutalized. Nobody ever in this world choose to be that way. No one comes, not even a puppy or dog comes to this world beat on and expect for that to be something that's the norm. No, it doesn't happen like that. So that doesn't make sense. But anyway, I think that a lot of me mixing that in there is a way to allow my people to wake up in all realms of our lives, our personal life, our day-to-day work job, our personal relationship, church, religion, uh, politics. All of it runs in together. I didn't want to leave anything out, And I didn't think at that particular moment, like I said, these are things I was writing about, my concerns, my wonders, before I even fell in love. I mean, there's poems in there before I even knew what love was, you know, those type of things. I was, preparing myself to experience. And a lot of the poems and a lot of the things that I've written in my life are coming to, I've lived and I'm experiencing right now today. A lot of the things I'm speaking on is so current, and I wrote it, a couple of years ago, but it's so modern day. It's so, updated. And I think that with that being said, it won't go out of style. And I think that politics part in it is not going to end, because that next collection that I release is going to have more. It's going to be aimed more towards that. And I think that it's time for us to get up and vote, and to be more, more considerate of our rights. We need to exercise our rights, and we need to fight for what's right. So that's one of the biggest things that I want to make sure that I put in that poetry collection. And I wanted that to be, to be the way that it reaches out to my people in all different aspects, not just one. And I don't just talk about one either. Okay, Taylor from Atlanta. What's up, A-Town? Holding it down. Taylor wants to know, why do I hold back on a lot of subjects that are so personal? Yet hold back on subjects that are yet so personal. Okay. Well, we all have ways of expressing things. I've had this happen throughout my whole career, even when it comes to my content, when it comes to me writing, writing suspense or, love, romance, those type of things. I held back because I wanted to make sure, like I said, it all goes back to Angus. I wanted to make sure that I didn't overdo myself. Luckily, Alter Ego, Boss Writer was able to, allow me to get to that point where I'm able to release those, because I was very uncomfortable about releasing my first novel. I consulted with so many different people before I even took the first procedure of even doing that, because I was so concerned about, the feedback I would get if a parent that bought one of my kid books, read one of my novels. It was one of those type of things. I was in that state of mind, and I think that was one of my reasons for holding back on that poetry collection, because it was so personal to me. But it didn't take much long after I released it, after Angus in 2011. And it was so much more easy for me to release it as a book than to release it even as an audiobook, because, with this book, it does allow me to share, go back to those feelings and how I felt, and to even remind me. I mean, that was a great experience of me, me recording. I mean, to go into the next question, how was the experience of me recording expressions of poetry? It was wonderful. And I didn't get up. I didn't take no breaks. My producer hit record, and I recorded. I mean, I sat there until I was done, until I put what I wanted to go inside of that book. But again, it's so personal to me. It makes a big difference in my life, and I'm fortunate for that. Very fortunate for the opportunity to be able to share that, this book with you all. It's very important that, I was able to release this book, and it's one of my only top 5, like 5-star international reviewed book, which means a lot to me. That's why I just knew that even after the release of the audiobook for Angus, this book had to come out, and it had to be, ready and prepared to inspire. And that's what it's doing. I've gotten some amazing reviews on this poetry book. Reviews that will, pretty much inspire generations to come. I think that it inspired me to pretty much get myself together and work on preparing another audiobook. It's so important that, that I get my word out there. I get my story, that I, take that chance to, to inspire people to write, to do more kid books. I mean, to me, it's so much more easier to do audiobooks, than it is to write. You have to take so much more time to sit and, find time to write. So nowadays we have the opportunity to just express ourselves over some recording and make sure it goes through the final processes, and there it goes. It's available to, the public. And I think that is what inspired me to continue to, to look forward to doing audiobooks in the next 10 years. I don't look, don't be so up for a new ebook or a new physical copy, because I want to focus more on ebooks right now. I want to take advantage of the digital opportunities that we have right now, and that's how I want to make my money. That's what I want to retire on, and that's what I'm going to aim for. So, in many aspects, I will be coming out soon with his self-help books to publishing and to music and all those type of things, so that y'all can get a start. I mean, it's a start. It's a start somewhere, especially if you get to a point where you are able to make a living. I mean, to live off of your career long. That is the amazing thing. That's everyone's dream, is to have a business that they, if they don't have a job, if they do have another job, but it's by choice. It's nothing that, you have to force yourself to do. And that's one of the very most important things. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to encourage the youth to do, to be creators, rebuild a new world where, we see more of our businesses, more of our, our people doing bigger and better things, not the same old, it's not that important for us to have these material things if we do not know how to continue to invest in ourselves. It starts with self. It's very important that we do that. And that's what expressions of poetry was my main thing for doing, like to inspire my people to connect, inspire my people to love, love yourself. It's very important that you love yourself. It's very important that you take time to acknowledge who you are as a person, and then you find your purpose here in life, and then you go for it. You move forward. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You go forward. I am a living testimony. I am a living testimony. When you read my autobiography, excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied. You're gonna be surprised to see where I come from and where I'm at now today. And I know it's many, many other stories out there like mine, but for my fans, for those, when you get gray-headed and you supported me throughout our lifetimes together, me inspiring you through music, because I'm so ready to get back in the studio, and it's going to be so on and popping. This is a live interview. It's not visual, but, kind of like letting y'all know what's going on with me. It's very important that we stay connected, that y'all stay informed on what's really taking place. A lot of shed from what the media is allowing us to know. It's very important that we take action, that we allow people to know fictions and facts. It's very important. And that's another thing. My poetry book is listed in, I think it's fiction. It's listed in fiction only because of the dream, the aspiration, my visions, the visions I have for my people and for this country and for the world itself becomes so much more of a fantasy, but it's not. It's something that can become into reality. It's very simple. So I don't know how that happened. It could have been a mishap on the submission or whatever the case, but everything, and I would say 90% to 100%, if you ask me, is genuine. It's real, realistic. It's my aspirations, my dreams. I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm entitled to express myself in a way that will encourage my people to be better. That we will live in a world like that, where everybody, even other races, not just my race, it's other races too, but that's my biggest concern. It's my people. And that's what I'm going to focus on. And I hope that, my people here. And that's a big thing. A big thing is that I just discovered that the African-American men are becoming more prone to audiobooks than, of course, the reading. Because, of course, you're hearing, I guess it would be more acceptable to them. But I think that that's phenomenon. So, I mean, that makes me go harder. When I hear stats like that, it makes me want to go hard into knowing that providing this technology is allowing them to hear what I have to say. And that's what we have to do. We have to speak to our people on a level where they could understand what we're talking about. A lot of times I have to speak to people the way that they function in order for them to understand where I'm coming from. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't do that because it seems like that's not who I am. That's not me. But how would you be able to understand someone? How would you be able to allow that person to relate to you if you're not able and not willing to understand who they are as a person? It's very important that we take those techniques. And it's not always about us. It's not always about us. It's about evolving and about becoming better for our roots and our generation to come. And that means a lot to me for my people. I love all people. I think all people are beautiful in their own way, But no one is going to take away your appreciation of who you are and make you feel like, you're validated in some type of way, They have to validate you in order for you to become whoever you want to be today. Control you and it's not good. It's athletic, like the industry in football, athletes. That is so crazy. It is modern day slavery for them. You know, there are a lot of them guys to skip through in very important education that, according to them, the education that they created, that they don't have, and the only thing they have is just their body that they're using to make whatever it is that you know, they're doing. And it's just really crazy. It's a really short-term career for a lot of them because of the trauma that they go through. But I think it's very important that us as a people, you know, we reinvent who we are. Never erase who we've been, because we can never erase our roots. We can never change who we are, you know, as a people. Can't sugarcoat it. We can't flaunt it. And that's one thing I love dearest about my people, is that we don't hide anything. I love that they can be blunt. You know, it's a different way that you can, you know, you can carry yourself. Some people don't have conduct. Some people don't know how to do that. You know, we are in a world, we live in a broken world where a lot of things are broken. Laws are twisted. Things are not functioning according to how it's supposed to be functioning. We have to be aware of what's taking place in our world in order to change along with it. I don't believe that in the next, you know, if I'm here, you know, how a lot of artists from the 90s up into the 2000s or whatever, not knowing how the industry may change before in my 40s and my 50s, but, you know, I'm going to continue to understand, not try, but to understand what I'm coming into, make myself very aware of my surroundings. A lot of counter for this one. But it's very important that we take these actions. We must set positive goals for our youth, inspire them to be all they can be, and to not make stupid mistakes. That's our biggest downfall, thinking we can do something and get away with it. It's important that we breathe, that we live in this world and we be free. The Montice Harmon Show is just not about, you know, what the typical show is about. It's not about those type of things. I'm not here to talk about the glamour and all that other type of thing. I'm talking about things that matters. Things that are going to change for the better, for the future of my people. I don't just talk this, I feel this. I really do. I feel it deep in my soul, in my spirit, in my heart, in my mind, that my purpose here is to guide my people. I have my own personal issues in my life, you know. I go through my things and everything, but it's very important that I take the initiative to understand who I am as a person in order to inspire others. It's very important that we do these things, you know. It's the whole thing to go back to say, practice what you preach. And I'm not perfect, and I'm not pretending to be perfect, but for one thing, for sure, I can admit my issues. I admit my issues before you. When I speak about my people, I speak about myself in general because it affects me. Despite who I am, I may be different from, you know, from her, from Susan, from James, or whatever, but in some way, we all are the same. We all are the same people. All of us, every race. We must come together. We must unite. It shouldn't be a thing. I mean, everybody as a race are segregated. That's how it's been set up. It ain't always been that way, but that's how it's been set up, and that's how it is now. The thing that kills me the most is these young, dark kids want to be, you know, white. Like, you know, for a parent child to even have that mentality, you know, you need to be kicked in your ass for that, because your child shouldn't embrace their beauty. Kids are very intelligent and smart nowadays. So if they're intelligent and smart to know, you know, a lot of wrong stuff, they're very aware and adapted to learning what's right. So you always influence them. You always encourage them that they are beautiful. That these young men are kings, and that they are empowered of who, you know, over who they are. And to obey the laws of man, to know, to respect the law, you know, in all ways, so that they are righteous, you know. That's the thing that we need to teach our kids, so that they won't have a miscommunication of who they are as far as their skin. That's a big problem in our society, and it's a big problem in our communities and within our youth. Because they see the things, you know. They see the other students and, you know, what they may be privileged with versus what they're not. We have to be very aware of how the public is affecting our kids outside of our homes, for those who care within the home, of what your child is learning and how your child is being treated and how they feel about the other students. These are the type of things that are important, and parents neglect the simplest things. This seems like probably, oh, that's not important. Oh, yes, it's important, because it affects who they grow up to be. And it does start in the home. It does start in the home. And when they grow up, they have their own decisions to make. But if they was brought up right, their conscience is going to reign on that ass. You feel me? I live with it every day of my life. So I know it's important that we enforce it in our kids as our elders did it to us. Why disrespect them? It's just not, it's a thing that we have to understand. We can't neglect those type of things. It's important that we hold on to those morals. Very important that we hold on to those morals. But other than that, just check out the poetry collection and make sure that, leave your reviews, and not to be biased, to be very honest about how you feel, because it's important for me to know so that I can take better gestures and be able to make, better decisions when it comes to my train of thought. But for so far, everything is on point, and I really appreciate the support. And be blessed, and tune in next time to the Montice Harmon Show.